In our last episode, Jin managed the impossible by forming a secret contract with the Black Dragon Murican right under the nose of his family. If you're new to the series, you can catch up on his initial progress at Storm Castle via the card link above. 6 months after the initial contact with the Shadow Dragon, the demographic of the Storm Castle shifted. Luna Runcandel, having failed to meet the requisite standards, was removed from the premises. His departure marked another casualty in the passive phase of the Succession War. Jin Runcandel remained. The timeline advanced to his 9th birthday, an event celebrated only by his immediate retainers, the Nanny Gilly and the Guardian Knight Khan. However, the castle's perimeter was breached by a high-value entity. Luna Runcandel arrived without a scheduled appointment. As the first, born of the 13 siblings and an 9-star knight, she represented the apex of the family as martial capability. Despite her power, the archives record her as an anomaly. The white whale who voluntarily abdicated her claim to the patriarch's throne to avoid the bloodshed of internal politics. Her estrangement from the family dynamic made her presence unpredictable. Jin Runcandel immediately ran a risk assessment. He feared his unauthorized access to the secret library had been exposed. The reality was less tactical and more sentimental. Luna Runcandel displayed visible anxiety. Admitting this was her first proximity interaction with her youngest sibling, she clarified that she did not arrive to enforce the Runcandel tradition of sibling suppression. Requesting a secured environment, Luna dismissed the attendants to speak with Jin in isolation. She delivered a strategic warning. Jin's performance during the Patriarch's evaluation had altered his status. He was no longer invisible. Luna cautioned that the moment Jin vacated the neutrality of the Storm Castle, the other siblings would initiate hostilities. She advised him to reject the family's cycle of violence and prioritize his own well-being. Jin analyzed this data against his memories of the previous timeline. In his past life, Luna had never intervened. He concluded that his former lack of talent had rendered him unworthy of even a warning. In this life, his potential had forced a deviation. Jin respectfully rejected her advice. He declared his intention to participate in the conflict, citing the assassination attempt already made against him as proof that neutrality was impossible. The mention of an assassination attempt triggered a catastrophic release of Manhwa from the first flag bearer. Luna's reaction was not one of a rival, but of an enraged protector. She demanded the identity of the assailant who dared to violate the sanctity of the Storm Castle. Jin withheld the specific intelligence, stating that the identity was unconfirmed, though his refusal was a calculated move to maintain control over his own vengeance. He de-escalated the situation by demonstrating his physical safety. Acknowledging that she could not dissuade him from the path of bloodshed, Luna opted for a contingency plan. She presented Jin with a pendant containing a blue gemstone. The instruction was absolute. Should Jin encounter an insurmountable threat, he was to shatter the gem. Luna pledged that she would deploy to his location immediately, regardless of distance or circumstance. Following her departure, Jin returned to the underground sector to consult with Murican. The dragon immediately identified the artifact. It was a relic of the Demon King Orgul, a legendary item granting the wearer resistance against magic up to the 5-star level while simultaneously amplifying their own mana efficiency. Murican then addressed the security breach. He confirmed that Luna Runcandel, possessing a high-tier sensitivity, had detected the dragon's energy signature within the castle. Jin expressed concern regarding exposure, but Murican dismissed the threat. The dragon correctly deduced that Luna's priority was Jin's survival. Outside the castle walls, Luna confirmed this assessment. She had sensed the unfamiliar and powerful presence lurking in the shadows of the Storm Castle. However, she chose to archive the anomaly without reporting it. If the entity was aiding her youngest brother, she would permit its existence. The first flag bearer departed, having silently solidified her alliance with the anomaly. Jin Runcandel, now 10 years old, concluded his period of exile at Storm Castle by pillaging his strategic assets. His inventory included the Patriarch's acknowledgement, a Phoenix Heart artifact, a covert alliance with Luna Runcandel, and a contract with the Guardian Dragon Murican. His final training session served not as instruction, but as a confirmation of status. The instructor, a seasoned warrior, found his role shifting from teacher to evaluator. Upon blocking Jin's strike, the instructor realized the boy's proficiency had already surpassed the standard curriculum. The session ended with the instructor bowing in deference, acknowledging that his teaching ability was being assessed by the student, rather than the inverse. In the privacy of his chambers, Jin verified the assimilation of the Phoenix Heart. Holding his finger directly within a candle's flame, he felt only the sensation of warm water. He calculated that he had absorbed approximately 50% of the artifact's potential, granting him significant fire resistance. Full integration would require several more years, but the biological foundation for his growth was undeniably secure. Before his scheduled departure, Jin returned to the underground archives to coordinate with Murican. The dragon expressed eagerness to leave the castle but revealed a critical limitation. Due to a slumber lasting 1,000 years, his power was severely depleted, preventing him from exiting openly. He explained that his recovery was tethered to Jin's own progression as a magic swordsman. Murican then disclosed a piece of suppressed history. The Runcandel clan was originally a lineage of magic swordsmen founded by Luna Runcandel. However, a humiliation vow sworn 1,000 years prior had forced the family to reject magic and erase this legacy from their records. To facilitate their escape, Murekin proposed using dragon tongue magic to cast an illusion over the library, masking the void left by his absence. He warned that this countermeasure was temporary due to his weakened state. Jin secured the dragon's cooperation by offering a bribe of alcohol and strawberry pie, solidifying their partnership before the dragon dissolved into his shadow form to accompany him. On the morning of October 30th, 1790, the transfer protocol was initiated. Gilly cautioned Jin that the relative comfort of Storm Castle would not exist at their destination. Outside the gates, Guardian Knights Jerome and Holtz formally took custody of the youngest son. The convoy departed, marking the end of Jin's isolation and his entry into the Runcandel main estate, the Garden of Swords. The transfer to the main estate faced immediate disruption. While heavy snowfall threatened the operation of the teleportation gate, the convoy halted prematurely. Jin observed a critical breach in security protocol. Runcandel doctrine dictated that during any engagement, one Guardian Knight must remain secured with the primary asset. The absence of a guard at the carriage door confirmed that the escorting forces were hostile impostors. Jin ordered an immediate evacuation. Gilliam Chlorine responded with combat capabilities far exceeding that of a caretaker. She shattered the carriage and shielded Jin from the ensuing ambush, revealing herself to be a high-ranking warrior. The assailants were confirmed to be disguised operatives rather than the assigned Guardian Knights. The tactical balance shifted with the arrival of the Black King mercenary squad, a unit specifically contracted by the Runcandel family to secure the route. They identified the hostiles and moved to intercept. Jin assessed the strength of the attackers, knowing that their combat technique fell significantly short of the 7-star standard possessed by genuine Guardian Knights. Jin issued a cold directive to Gilly: kill one target and maim the other for interrogation. Gilly executed the command with overwhelming force, neutralizing the threat instantly. The surviving assailant, realizing the disparity in power, screamed a declaration of war against the Runcandel reign, invoking the name of the Zipple family. The Zipple clan represents the opposing pole of global power, a family of mages who, 1,000 years prior, forced a humiliating anti-magic oath upon the Runcandel lineage. They are the historic enemy of the clan. However, Jin identified this attacker not as a core Zipple agent, but a mere fanatic acting on the periphery. He deemed the survivor unworthy of detailed interrogation and ordered him discarded. Despite the amateurish execution of the assault, the quality of the impostor's initial disguises troubled the youngest son. To deceive the senses of a 7-star warrior required high-level preparation. Jin concluded that this external attack was facilitated by internal sabotage, casting suspicion on his siblings waiting at the Garden of Swords. With Jin now navigating the complex politics of the Garden of Swords, every interaction is a calculated move towards supremacy. We'll be diving deeper into the hidden details of his journey to the main estate, and his first clash with the Zipple heir in the next video. Like and subscribe so you don't miss the next update on Jin's ascent.